깜프 이제 설득하러 가야 되고, 그 다음에 한번 쳐들어갔다가 한다고 치면은 뭐 한 30도 안 된, 30쯤 됐나?
Sometimes we were kin of a sort. All of us had gone through the joining, so we knew. Well, anyhow, it doesn't have to be deadly serious all the time. Anyhow, we never did find out. He said he'd drink a pint for every half pint that the rest of us drank. He was still going by the time the rest of us were passed out. I'm told that Duncan walked in later on and saw us all passed out from one end of the hall to the other, and Gregor still drinking. Duncan laughed until he nearly... Until... Yes, I suppose so. I thought I was done with this, but it just struck me that I have nothing to remember Duncan by. Nothing at all. There's no body, not even a token.
전장 다시 갈 수 있을 텐데. 지금 갈 수 있나?
That must sound really stupid to you. I just would have liked something of his to take with me, that's all. Well, there's no use in moaning about it, is there? He's gone. Let's just go.
투수 할아버지들 누워서 보기 편하게 왕창 키웠습니다.
I'm wondering something. I'd like to know your thoughts about some of our traveling companions. Do you mind if I ask? I've got this nefarious plan to go around to each of them and secretly tell them all the nasty things you said. That way they'll mutiny and I shall become the group leader. Hey, that's a pretty good policy. Where exactly is lunch anyway? Seriously though, I'm only curious. I've had enough time.
나는 조금만 해도 어차피 이렇게 들여다보고 하니까 보이지. 투수들이 안 보이지.
Zevran, the elf. You can't trust him, can you? Do you believe his so-called vow?
깜프는 믿을 수 없지.
Then why bring him along? Don't you think he might try to kill you again? Maybe he's just biding his time. Yes, well, he is at that. So useful, you could just die, right? What about Sten? The way he looks at me with those eyes. Creepy. And he's so quiet for someone.
뒷담 까는 시간이야?
I know. The more I talk to him, the more it seems like his philosophy is not.
원래 뒷담 까면서 친해지는 거예요.
It's an odd thing to think, and yet he killed all those people. He doesn't even deny it. Doesn't that bother you? I'm not so sure that his regret means the same as it would for us.
저기에 맞장구 치면은 매장 나간다고?
It's a bit hard to grasp. For me, anyway. What about Liliana? Is she crazy? Or do you really believe in her?
릴리아나는 좀 미친 것 같던데?
Really? I'm not sure I could dismiss it so easily. I mean, it's not as if we didn't need the help when she came to us. And how could she have known? I don't know what to make of her. If you look at her when she doesn't see you, she just looks so sad. I almost feel guilty taking her away from her life. Yes, I know. Still, I feel badly for her. Morrigan, do you trust her? Think about it. Maybe Flemeth sent
뒷담화
her with us
그만하라고요?
for some other reason.
뒷담화라니. 어? 그래도 얘가 내 오른팔인데 오른팔하고 파티원들에 대한 얘기 정도는 할 수 있지.
Well, aside from the fact that she's a complete and utter bitch, no, I don't like her at all. Why, do you?
그래, 모리건 이쁘잖아.
Sure. Beautiful, just like Like something that's also dangerous, like a beautiful, dangerous thing. Yes, one of those, but more evil. Just tell me one thing. Is it true what the others say? Do you have a
벌써 소문났어? 우리가 나고
going with
사귄다고?
Morrigan? Tell me it's not true.
들켰어?
You think we have better things to do all day than talk about you? Come on, tell me it's not true. Great. So they were right. Well, it's your funeral. Enough. I think my curiosity is sated.
아,
Let's get
저
back to it,
애들이
shall we?
눈치가 빨라요.
Something on your mind?
얘들 이거 심심하니까
Of course.
모닥불에서 이렇게 잡담하면서
Never.
쟤네 사귀나 봐, 이런
never
거
what?
아니야.
Get a good pair of shoes? I'm not sure I do. Have I never seen a basilisk? Ate jellied ham? Have I never licked a lamppost in winter? Oh, so that's what we're talking about. Well, if you really want to know, you tell me first.
안 알려줌.
And I'm supposed to tell you everything? Just spill your guts, Alistair. I'm bored, and your private details exist to amuse me. Oh, that's funny. Your cruel japes will be remembered, sir. If you hear sobbing later, that's me crying myself to sleep. Ha ha ha. Your cruel interrogation will be remembered forever. Or maybe just until lunch. Lunch makes everything better. Oh, look, I have cheese.
Here I am. Oh, this should be good. Go ahead. Well, the Crows would have you believe that it is an involved process that takes years of training. The sort that tests both your resolve and your endurance. Survive that process and maybe, just maybe, you're good enough to start being considered one of them. But quite frankly, the truth is that all it requires is a desire to kill people for a living. It's surprising how well one can do in such a field. I don't know about that. It's simply a slightly different skill set from your average killer as I see it. An assassin simply specializes in striking from stealth, and in maximizing that first attack to be as lethal as possible. Debilitate your foe, either by poison or by crippling their limbs, makes any follow-up combat you need to engage in that much simpler. See? Getting paid for the act is beside the point. An assassin is more a tactical choice than a lifestyle. Of course, the Crows like to pretend that their abilities are trade secrets, shrouded in shadows and wrapped in a blanket of mystery. So let's just keep this between you and me, shall we? Hmm? Here I am. Oh, I certainly could, but I won't. I swore to the Crows that the things they taught me were to remain a secret. And while, yes, they are already angry at me, I'd rather not push things, you see.
어차피 너는 추격당하고 있는 마당에
You need to learn the arts of the Crows in order to slay Darkspawn, do you? You seem to be doing fine as it is. If you are truly insistent, well, let me think about it. The Crows are already angry at me, yes? Who knows?
안 열어주네. 호감도가 낮아서 그런가?
Oh, this should be good. Go ahead. Well now, I imagine that's a very fair question. Being an assassin, after all, is a living, at least as far as such things go. I was simply never given the opportunity to choose another way. So, if that choice presents itself, why should I not seize upon it? To be truthful, I didn't even know the Crows existed when I joined them. I was but a boy of 7 when I was purchased. For 3 sovereigns, I'm told. Which is a good price, considering I was all ribs and bone and didn't know the pommel of a dagger from the pointy end. The Crows buy all their assassins that way. Buy them young, raise them to know nothing else but murder. And if you do poorly in your training, you die. Of course, You compete against your fellow assassins, and those who survive are rightfully proud of it. In Antiva, being a crow gets you respect. It gets you wealth, gets you women, and men, or whatever it is you might fancy. But that does not mean doing what is expected of you always. And it means being expendable. It's a cage, if a gilded cage. Pretty, but confining. And become the next mark for some up-and-coming crow? Not likely. The only way to leave is for them to think you're dead. And even then, you'd best be scarce. As for what I'll do in the future, presuming that there is one, I truly can't imagine. It might be interesting to go into business for myself, for a change. Far away from Antiva, of course. For now, naturally, I go where you go. And be slaughtered? Perish the thought. Come now, enough chit-chat. Talking about the crows summons them, you know. Any Antivan fishwife could tell you so.
배신하냐고 물어봤더니 호감도 까였어.
Oh, this should be good. Go ahead. And why not? There are many things to enjoy about being a crow in Antiva. You are respected, you are feared. The authorities go out of their way to overlook your trespasses. Even the rewards are nothing to turn your nose up at. As for the killing part, well, some people simply need assassinating. Or do you disagree? I often find myself the instrument of fate, ending these lives for one
이번엔
necessity
맞장구
or another.
쳐줬으니까
I
올라갔지.
console myself with the notion that most of them had it coming. As far as enjoying the act of killing itself, why not? There is a certain artistry to the deed, the pleasure of sinking your blade into their flesh and knowing that their life is in your hands. There are many things I did not enjoy about being a crow, of course. Having no choice, being treated as an expendable commodity, the rules, oh, so many rules. But simply being an assassin, I like it just fine. I will continue to do it if I can, even if I am not a crow. Honestly, could you picture me doing something else? Whereas I am content merely doing what I happen to be good at. It's a talent that not many come by honestly. I don't see why I need not pursue it. Of course, all these thoughts are moot. Chances are still good that you and I will perish, eaten by darkspawn or slain by the crows at some point. Very gruesomely, I imagine. But it is pleasant enough to chat about. Come, let's
얘는
move on while I
대사
still have
고를
some
때
way.
조심해야 돼요. 남자로도 공략이 되니까.
Here I am. Oh, this should be good. Go ahead. Oh, you wish to know about Antiva, do you? The only way to truly appreciate it would be to go there. It is a warm place, not cold and harsh.
얘는 양성애자예요.
In Antiva it rains often, but the flowers are always in bloom. Or so the saying goes. It's not really a matter of wanting to go back. I cannot go. At least not yet.
제가 그 취향 아니냐고요? 님들이 그 취향이지. 나는 여태까지 한 번도 그런 방향으로 간 적이 없는데 님들은 그쪽으로 가길 원하는 것 같더라고.
My Antiva city. Do you come from someplace comparable?
대화하다 갑자기 끌려갈 수도 있다고? 아 이게 약간 정서가 달라서 그냥 약간 격려해주거나 뭐 동료로서 얘기하는 것 같은 지문을 골랐는데 나도 모르게 로맨스 쪽으로 가는 경우가 있어. 뭐 작업 멘트가 우리나라랑 좀 다르다고.
Oh, I have never seen that place. I am sure it has its charms and its dogs. You know what is most odd? We speak of my homeland, and for all its wine and its dark-haired beauties
해석을
and the little
이상하게 한 거
flutes of the
아니에요?
minstrels, I
글쎄.
miss the leather the most. I mean the smell. For years, I lived in a tiny apartment near Antiva City's leather-making district, in a building where the crows stored their youngest recruits, packed in like crates. I grew accustomed to the stench, even though the humans complained of it constantly. To this day, the smell of fresh leather is what reminds me most of home, more than anything else. Oh, not so long, I know. It is my first time away from Antiva, however, and the thought of never returning makes me think of it constantly. Before I left, I was tempted to spend what little coin I possessed on leather boots I spotted in the store window.
기쟁이들 문 닫아서 어쩔 수
Finest
없다고.
Antivan leather, perfect craftsmanship. But I was a fool to leave them. I thought, Zevran, you can buy them when you return as a reward for a job well done. More the fool I, no? True, and it's a comforting thought. One simply never knows what is to come next. How could I have suspected I would end up defeated by a handsome Grey Warden? A man who then spares my life? I could not. Perhaps that was a poor choice of words. True, though it is. Do you object? As you wish. I apologize. Now, if it is
멘트
all the
치지
same
마.
to you,
불길하니까.
I'd prefer not to speak more of Antiva. It makes me wistful and hungry for a proper meal.
호감도 까였어.
Here I am. Oh, this should be good. Go ahead. Here I am. Oh, this should be good. What would you like to discuss?
Swing and stand! Swing and stand! Hail, Grey Warden.
참 방패 줬죠. 뭐 별 차이 없긴 한데. 이름은 그냥 기본 이름이에요.
Now that we're back at the camp, I want to talk about what happened at Redcliffe. I just wanted to thank you. You went out of your way to save the Isles family, and you did it. Even though it would have been easier not to. There's been so much death and destruction. Well, it makes me feel good that at least we were able to save something. No matter how small. I owe the Isle that much. You're right. Hopefully, by that time, there's still enough of Ferelden left to save. Good. Now that the warm, fuzzy part of the day is over with, we can get back to the ritual dismemberments. Oh wait, it's not Tuesday, is it?
이번 주 리치킹 저거는 와우 얘기 아니야?
Your dog is filthy. I can smell him 50 yards off. That may be so, but all the same, I would like your permission to bathe him. No, that's not what magic is used for. Just make him sleep over on the other side of the camp. With Alistair. With any luck, that will keep all the stench confined to one small area.
얘 선물 줘서 치워야 되는데.
If there's anything I can do for you, please. I'm sure you...
뭐요? 저 먹을 것도 없는데 강아지를 챙기라고요? 피해용. 이거 입히면 괜찮을 것 같아. 이거 애들마다 주인이 있는데 여기에는 이름이 안 써있네.
Enchantment? Enchantment!
그래도 가문의 검은 들고 있어 주는 게 낫지 않을까?
You are wise to invest. The Circle of Magi stands ready
왜
to
쌍수냐고요?
assist Grey
간지나니까요.
Warden, as do the Templars of the Chantry. The sincerity of your cause has drawn them together under a common banner. It would not have happened otherwise.
On your order, Grey Warden. The Jarl was generous, but rushed. Certain areas could see improvement. We're a mercenary force, Warden. Much of our equipment is self-financed. Were you to commit additional funds, we'd upgrade as we saw the need.
Oh, it's been a long day. Rest would be welcome. I'm just feeling a little weary is all. As you may have noticed, I'm no spring chicken. Thank you. You're very kind to say so. But in all honesty, I do not know how many years I have left in me. I have lived for such a long time, but there is always
그
something else
쌍수라고?
to do. And I have to keep going in order to do it. I think I will be glad when I am done. Oh, no. I'm not the sort of person that leaves things unfinished. I'll see this through, I promise. Have you encountered many abominations, apart from the ones in the Circle Tower? Ah, yes, Connor, of course. The first time I saw an abomination, my blood turned to ice. It was months before the nightmares stopped. It was the knowledge that I could easily become one of them that frightened me the most. Every mage is vulnerable, no matter how accomplished or powerful. That is the first thing we learn, and overconfidence can lead to recklessness. One slip. All it takes is one slip, and everything you are is simply gone, replaced by madness. And there is no turning back, or at least that's what they say. Of late, I have begun to wonder if there is any way an abomination can be cured, or if a mage could be so possessed and still retain their sanity, their humanity. Because every mage lives with this threat. It is constantly on our minds. Do not trouble yourself, though. This is only an old lady giving voice to her musings. Is there something you need? I will answer to the best of my ability.
얘는 호감도를 좀 올려야 되는데.
Yes? Well, here I am. Quiet. It was a life suited for contemplation. In the cloister, away from the fuss and the flurry of the cities, I found peace. And in that stillness, I could hear the Maker. But it was not perfect. Some of my chantry fellows were condescending. That is the nature of religious folk, I suppose. When I talked about my beliefs, that the Maker reveals himself in the beauty of his world, they treated me with disdain. They want to believe
눈이요?
that he's gone, so that when he
불빛 때문에
turns his
그래요.
gaze on them, it means they are special, chosen. He cannot possibly have love for all, the sick and the weary, the beggars and the fools. What can I say to them? What they believe is what the Chantry says, and the Chantry is infallible, yes? Maybe I am wrong. But it is the Maker's place to decide if I am worthy, not men, not the Chantry. But there is work to be done, and I have talked enough for now. Yes? Well, here I am. Of course I do. I love stories far too much to keep them to myself. Everyone should be able to benefit from them, I think. Which one? It will come to you soon, I'm sure.
저번에 내용 다 들었나 봐.
Yes. Sitting, as you observed. It's what you asked. I did. Parshera. Was there anything else? I am hardly surprised. To answer a question. Were you not at Ostagar when the army was overwhelmed? That is your answer. Yes. I cannot go home. It doesn't matter now. Can we move on? We keep the Darkspawn waiting. As you wish.
아직 안 친해서 썰을 안 풀어주네요. 고문관이라고요? 아, 뭐 꼬우면 대장 하든가 그레이 워든 하든가.
Indeed.
Yes.
일단 애들 선물 좀 줘서 아이템 좀 정리하고.
Flowers? For me? They smell lovely. And there's something so familiar about them. These were my mother's flowers. She would sprinkle the dry petals amongst her clothes. Oh, they smell just like her. Thank you so much.
능력이 생겼네.